Today I want to talk about navigating this bizarre reality that we have collectively co-created and are expected to move through. So, the news of the borders opening up for those who choose to remain injection free was massive for me and immensely overwhelming. It took me from here's my reality in this moment, and just like that, in a nanosecond with no fucking warning, my reality became this external. My external reality became this. So where I couldn't go before anywhere, I couldn't leave, sometimes not even the province, to now being able to leave with certain conditions. Now you got to find out what those are and blah, blah, yada, yada. But it's like there's another door that opened. Same day, I could go back to work. Just like how they took my right to work away, or my ability, because it's not quite a right, my ability to work and provide for my family away, just like that in an instant, they write me and say, hey, it's now, changed. No rhyme or reason or warning or anything. Just like this whole fucking 2.5 years has been. From this reality to this reality the next day to this reality. So this one day, I can go grocery shopping, but I can't go to the museum. And then the next day, I can't go grocery shopping and I can't go to the museum. And then the next day, I can go grocery shopping and I can go to the museum. And it's like, okay. This is, very typical control mechanism where you kind of keep people on their toes and they don't know what to expect, all the while you follow the science, which obviously changes overnight. So you keep people on their toes and then they don't know what to expect and they just kind of move along. And so many of us are depressed, and if you're looking at the new stats of things that are going on, it's insane. Overdoses more than doubled, suicide, same thing, domestic violence, oh my God. Meanwhile, the only rape crisis center in Ottawa has now closed. So, I don't want to get into that too much. What I would like to talk to you today, whoever wants to listen, it's fun, is about our ability to own our own resourcefulness, resilience, and within that, adaptability. So we live in a world that, in an external reality driven by others, so the collective drives the external reality. The beliefs of the majority drive the external reality. The beliefs of the majority are shaped by a certain kind of minority. And that certain kind of minority has a particular worldview in order that they are implementing. So that's happening. And while that's happening, in order for us to accept that that's what's happening, we, the population, are kept constantly guessing. So we don't know what's happening from one minute to the next. While that's absolutely fucking exhausting, overwhelming, the best skill, and it is a skill, to develop in our world, at least that's what I'm finding for myself, is adaptability. So becoming resourceful in adapting to constantly changing environments. So what does that mean? That might mean that I remain open and receptive to a variety of different possibilities. Gone are the days of planning. Gone are the days of being able to predict what's coming. Gone are the days where we can have any sort of faith or trust or anything like that in the institutions that are quote unquote leading us. Because they've been failing institutions and now they're being replaced by international, global institutions. That's the goal. So, because of course, concentrating power is a good idea. History shows that. Anyway, the better educated you are, that's the truth of it, the better educated you are, and the more you can link from different pieces. So you can pull from different threads to create a pattern. And so you can see the pattern and you can see which thread pulls where and then how it interconnects with everything else. Then you can begin to see the bigger picture. And when you see the bigger picture, everything that's unfolding at the detail level begins to make a lot more sense. And when you can see that and you can make more sense of it, then you can become more adaptable to that unfolding reality. Because here's the truth of it. If you cannot predict what's coming from one minute to the next, so here I am, I have my market going where I'm selling my skincare. I have my coaching business, which I'm stepping into and growing. I have my writing. I have my son. I have my family. I have my home. I have all these things. We're putting in a hot tub, whatever. All of these things that I had planned for the summer, camping, exploring Nova Scotia, all of these things I had, some version of a plan for. And all of a sudden, just like that, I can leave this country. Well, then I'm going to go. And I spent a whole day completely overwhelmed by that, scattered, but I know how to come back to myself, right? Like I know where my center is and I know how to be in that space, even though externally, so not internally, but like my extremities rather than externally. My extremities are confused and challenged and overwhelmed and all of these things, anxious, angry, like all of these things. But my core is centered and I know what I know and I trust what I know and I move from that space of deep inner knowing because I know. And what I know is that if the borders were going to open up, I'm going to go because I'm going to see my grandfather, who I thought I'll never see again. I'm going to visit the graves of my grandmothers and my ancestors, who I never thought I would do again. I'm going to dip my feet in the Mediterranean warm sea. I'm going to see my family, and I'm going to say goodbye to the matriarchal home. Both my grandmother's home and the land from which my ancestors came from. And that's critical for me. It's immensely important for me because there's something critical about closure. And given that we live in this unpredictable world, given that I don't know if I will come back and be able to go to a grocery store, I would like to take my chance, take the opportunity, and engage that opportunity as it comes up. So this is the whole thing with adaptability, at least in this particular case with me, is noticing that I have to be able and willing to let go. To let go of any ideas and certainly any expectations of normalcy, because there isn't none. So any ideas of plans, any ideas of anything I might have thought is important, I'm invited to constantly let go and adapt to whatever reality is now. Because I can see the larger picture, I can plan inside of myself very loose plans about where to live and how to create a different external reality for myself in a different like-minded community. And that means I have to create that. That means I have to be one of the leaders in creating that alternative way of living. And while I don't do that by gardening, I don't do that by picking up arms and defending property, I don't do that by, I don't know, however people do it. Like, I'm not a canner. I don't fucking can. I don't garden. I'd like to, but I kill everything I touch, so I don't garden. It's not my thing. I'm not a hunter. I may or may not be a gatherer. I don't know. So it's like my strength is in exploring mindsets that create particular realities. Because it starts with a mindset. Everything that is created on the physical realm first is a thought. First you have a thought. Oh, interesting. You come up with an idea, and then as that idea begins to solidify in your own mind, it turns into you're looking at your beliefs, values, and attitudes of like, okay, well, what do I need to access to make that a reality? Like, what do I have to believe to make that happen? Who do I have to become to make that happen? What do I believe? What are the strategies that I need to put in place? Now, when we're at the strategy level, it's much, much closer, right? Because now we have an actual strategy playing out, which is what's happening right now with the idea of transhumanism, changing who we think we are and who we're capable of becoming, making the choices in the moment that we're in to actually unfold this, have it unfold, the belief being that we're better if we're connected to the cloud, we're better species if we have all the information downloaded into our brains, even though our brains would fucking explode. We're just better if we are directly connected to something else that gives us constant dopamine highs. Like, that's what we're looking for. Short-term rewards with no long-term work, with no long-term commitment, with nothing. So the strategies are in place that have already been in place with social media. I mean, how much time do you spend on social media? That is a disconnection from self. That is a ingesting of an external reality. And now you gotta like, oh, what's happening in my own body? So the strategies that are playing out with the mRNAs and the keeping people on our toes and the vax passports and coming up with the digital currencies and coming up with the digital passports and the brain chips and free internet for everybody, like that's our priority. Anyway, so as that's happening, this is the reality that's manifested. How do we move forward, creating a world, a reality for ourselves that does not map to the expectations of the external status quo reality? And if that works for you, hey, kudos to you. I don't get it, but that's fine. I don't fucking have to. Because what I think of you is none of your business. Just like what you think of me is none of my fucking business. I'll tell you that. So for me, adaptability is key. Developing that skill to not hanging on to any particular version of external reality and being open to co-creating another reality. That's key. That's like immense. But how do we do that? That's an excellent question. I hold conversations around this. I have one-on-one coaching around stuff like this. Sheila Winter-Wallace has monthly conversations around this, and she's a fucking wizard that everybody should be in touch with. Everybody. There's lots of ways. There are parallel societies building communities right now, buying up land and putting up all the things in place that are needed to create an alternative reality. So you're not alone. You're never alone. You're not crazy. This is what's fucking happening. And if you do feel like you're crazy, you're intended to feel that way. It's like everywhere. Discrimination against anybody that thinks for themselves seems to be the it thing nowadays. It's the cool, hip thing to do. We're going to be inclusive on trans right, but we're not going to put those people in here. They're dangerous. And it's the same people that are buying into this mindset. It's fucking mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-boggling. The people who think they're being inclusive when in fact they're discriminating against their own fucking family members. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. I don't want to tell you. It's fine. Whatever. So, if you want to have a chat with me, I'm happy to have a chat with you and take it wherever the conversation takes us. So for now, I wish you a beautiful day and breathe. As my friend Louise Lebrun says, breathing is good. So without breath, we are profoundly disconnected from everything around us. So deep breaths every single day, every single chance that you get. Nourish yourself, nourish your body, breathe. Allow yourself to notice your own internal cues that are letting you know the truth of your experience. That is the truth. Your body has evolved over gajillions of years to be able to decipher what your individual truth is based on your impulse, based on your intuition, as opposed to the conditioning that you've internalized as real. I know, it's shocking. You can actually decipher those messages. But first you have to know that there are different messages playing. First you have to know that your mind, the paradigm that you operate from has been shaped by the culture that you live in, by the parents that you're born into, by the institutions that you were part of, by all of the stuff that taught you what reality is. And reality, what is reality? Reality for you might be different than reality for me, which is definitely different from reality than a woman in Afghanistan or Congo or Australia, or an Indigenous woman, or Indigenous man. We do not hold the same worldviews, and my worldviews are no more correct than yours, just as theirs is no more correct than ours. Whoever they happens to be and whoever we happens to be. It's constantly shifting. Anybody noticing that? So, if one day I'm part of the in-group and the next day I'm part of the out-group, so be it. How do I create a meaningful life for myself as part of the quote-unquote out-group? How do I create a meaningful life for myself as part of an unpredictable external reality? So first I have to notice, and then I have to make mindful choices. Considered choices. And I have to not give in to that sensation of panic, overwhelm, anxiety, hopelessness, despair, fear, rage, outrage. Recognizing that those are impulses that are letting me know something, and I am a centered being, an adaptable being that creates my own reality. So I'm gonna go see my family, the land I was born into, my ancestors' land. I'm gonna take my son there. Maybe the last time I ever do so, who knows? But you know what? I choose to be okay with what it is. And like, I'm going. Like, I'm going. So that's fucking incredible. And I haven't allowed myself to get excited about it because it's been 2 days of sort of deciphering, like, holy shit, is this even real? And let me let go of the overwhelmingness of this and all the like stories around it. And now own that I'm going to go. And it's exciting. And I'm going to take action on my own behalf. And the action that I'm taking is one where I choose to go see my family. So, what are the choices that you're making navigating this bizarre, unpredictable, contradictory, immensely violating reality? How are you moving through your world differently? And how are you moving through your world the same? How are the choices that you're making contributing to the external reality that we're all co-creating? I think self-reflection is absolutely critical in making sure that we evolve toward that which we're capable of becoming, as opposed to away from that which we fear. So, with that, I wish you a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.